Hello guys, welcome to today's video. Today we're back with a how to use or how to guide for Shuri. She's now a 7-star champion, one of the best 7-star champions out there, and with this new buff she's a very good long form content, Everest content champion. So let's jump into the ability she has and her SIG ability. So her SIG ability, against special attacks, Shuri can block unblockable attacks and has 0 to 5% perfect block chance for each of her personal armor ups. So obviously at 20 armor ups, she has 100% perfect block chance, which is really nice. Shuri's adaptive technology means her ability actually can't be altered, so she's a very good domino counter, and she's also immune to shock and precisions. She can't land criticals without her personal precisions, but you sort of need those personal precisions for her to really ramp up, so I would definitely not say she's not a critical hit champ like Shocker is. They're also non-contact and deal energy damage. So the kinetic matrix, this is the one that is a panther, gain an indefinite when struck or when blocking attacks, and she gets 5 on a well-timed block. She loses 3 when struck by true damage. So that's more of those cosmic champs. Max charges, new matrix charges become armor up passives, increasing her armor up by her armor rating by 233, and a max of 20. So her light and medium attack, she consumes 1 matrix to inflict a normal shock, dealing 555 energy damage over 22 seconds, which isn't very much. And shocks inflicted with critical hits become critical shocks, and that's multiplied. That damage is multiplied by her critical damage multiplier, which is obviously how many precision she has. So you can sort of see the trend that's coming on here. Precisions mean crits mean critical shocks, and matrix charges, the panther charges, just hits mean shocks. So you'll get to see a bit more of it in the gameplay. On heavy attacks, she consumes 10 matrix charges to gain 100% untouchable. On a heavier hit, refresh any active shock effects on the opponent and consume any of her personal passives to convert that many, however many it may be, 9, 10, into critical shock passives. Again, something I can show much better in the gameplay. So this is the way I'd play her. Her SP1, each hit grants her matrix charge and an indefinite precision passive, plus an extra passive for every 10 shocks. So she's got 50, every hit is 5 precision passives. These do not count as precisions and are consumed by light and medium attacks to become critical hits, which then give you critical shocks. Her SP2, the final hit, inflicts a shock debuff for each critical shock the opponent is suffering. So if they've got 50 critical shocks, this will give you 50 normal shocks, which will build you up perfectly. And then finally, on SP3, she gains 20 matrix charges and deals a burst of 946 direct damage for each shock and critical shock. So if that's up to 100, so 50 normal shocks and 50 critical shocks, that can be an absolute ton of damage, which again we'll show in the gameplay. Any nice synergies? The wrong button. She, with Black Panther, she gains an extra 10% health and 10% shock and bleed potency, which is really nice. It means those shocks do more damage. The Atuma one is very good because she gets 10 indefinite precision passives at the start of the fight, which means basically you can get 10 critical shocks straight away. You start each fight with indefinite failsafe, so when struck by an SP1 or SP2, you don't take any damage from it initially. And other than that, I would probably say that the Misty Knight, forgot that champion's name, shock and cold snap effects gain 20% potency, so it just means her shocks are even more powerful and do more damage than they originally did. So let's jump into the gameplay to explain Shuri a bit more, but once you get the hang of it, she's very easy champ to use. Her understanding is very easy, and she's very good at that Everest content. So let's jump into that now. So let's just jump straight into the gameplay, as I mentioned. So here you want to, I feel the best way to do it. So obviously, as you can see, the little panther, they're 5 for a well-timed block, so 2 parries in a row. Every time you hit with one of those active, you put one on. So you can see there I parried that hit. Hits into the block also count as 1. So you want to, try and block those special attacks, especially for like a Winter Soldier who has quite a lot. And then as soon as you get to an SP1, throw that SP1 to put precisions on. You can see those precisions are now dwindling. They were to put those critical shocks on. That every SP1 refreshes the shocks. You can see there I turned all of the shocks to critical shocks through the precisions. And really it's just about building up those critical shocks. So you can see more SP1s mean more critical shocks. You want to get to 50 critical shocks while trying to also build up your the panther icon. I can't remember off the top of my head what it's called, and that will allow you to put regular shocks on. And then when you get to 50 of each, you want to throw your SP3 for massive damage. So the way I sort of enjoy playing Shuri is there's multiple ways. You either build to those 50 critical shocks and then throw an SP2, and then that SP2 allows you to put regular shocks on for the same amount that there are critical shocks. So you'll see here with that final hit puts 50 on because it adds 36 to the already 16, which obviously you guys know is 52. So max is at 50 and the critical shocks stay at 30. Every heavy attack there refreshes critical shocks and regular shocks, and every SP1 allows you to get precisions, put critical shocks on. So what I could have done there was I could have thrown another SP1, got to 50 and 50, and then thrown my SP3. But instead, I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to throw my SP3 here straight after this. What I could have also done was heavy there to refresh, but all the special attacks do refresh the shocks and critical shocks. You can see they're completely refreshed. And if you looked real careful in there, that there was a massive number of big red damage, up to 81,000. So, massive damage there for the critical shocks and the passive shocks. There are other ways of doing it. So you can SP1 all the way to 50 critical shocks, SP2 to get the equivalent there, which would be 50 regular shocks, then throw your SP3 for even more damage. So, those big red numbers are always growing there. And she is a great champ for Everest content because they just do not disappear. So you could constantly keep getting to SP3s, mixing heavies in there as well. And her untouchable also make her quite... it makes it quite easy to throw those heavy attacks. So here we're in with the synergies. As I mentioned previously, the synergies, some nice ones in here. We've got the Black Panther one to increase shock duration and potency, the Misty Knight one to increase shock potency, so she is really just doing more damage, and then the Atuma one to start with precisions, which means you get those critical shocks on there instantly. So just see how the damage fares. The damage is a little bit different, more shock damage and critical shock damage, but she's just a great champ all round. You can use her in the short fights. You just want to put 2 SP1s in and an SP2, and then that will finish her off in Battlegrounds easily, just because that SP2 obviously matches however many critical shocks she's got. So you constantly build up those SP1s if you can, and it shouldn't be a problem. The passive critical shocks as well are very effective, meaning people, some champs like Kingpin can't shrug them off. And I just think she's really good for Everest content. The heavies with a refresh is really, really nice. The precisions, putting all the precisions on with a heavy attack is also very good. And she's just a good champ all round. Her armor ups make her, like you can see in the last video, I probably took out 8% health and I got hit. Same there, that was, 6% health. Yeah, is only a 4-star Winter Soldier, but she is a very, very tanky champ. She has quite a lot of health, but that damage rating those armor ups give you is really, really nice. So, she's a great champ all round. I would highly recommend her. If you get her as a 7-star, definitely rank her up. Hopefully this video has helped you guys out. If it has, please leave a like and comment down below. Hope you guys are enjoying these how-to's videos of new 7-stars, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the future in the next video. So thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys in the next video. Goodbye.